1 2 1 2. Just checking audio. You know how it be. Let's see how it goes. Just got a text saying Sam Howell takeover. I don't know what that means. What happened to Sam Howell? Waiting for this. All right, we're good to go. I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Elijah, Eli, researcher Eli, young Eli, whatever you want to call me. But we've got a huge show on our hands, all right? And it's actually kind of nuts because I've never seen free agency look like this. A couple times in the NBA, but never in the NFL. This is crazy because, I mean, I don't even know where to start because now we are starting to realize that this league is a player league. It is no longer a team league. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we are starting to track the players more than we are the teams. You know, everyone cares about where Saquon was going to go, where Kirk was going to go, where Chris Jones was going to go, where T. Higgins is going to go. But now it's about players, not about teams. But let me know how y'all doing in the chat. We've already got some chats up in here, so let's read them. Angelo, what up, Angelo? This guy knows ball. He says, Falcons looking like a real team again. Of course, as soon as I started to celebrate the Ritter for Rondale Moore trade, the next article is NFL reviewing Falcons for possible tampering violations. Yes, it's not looking too good. I'm hoping it can be something that can be swept under the rug. Hopefully, it's nothing too extreme. Maybe it's like a comp pick. I don't even know what those are. I don't think anyone really knows. But if you do know, let me know in the chat. But yeah, so I think Philly's also under those violations or allegations, issues, whatever. And then Hayden says, Falcons to the Super Bowl. Might not win, but to the Super Bowl. I agree. And Win here, what up, Pops? He says Hayden is optimistic. Yes, very optimistic. But that's what you have to be if you're a fan for the Falcons because the last 3 years have been just nothing but misery. And now we have finally gone in the right direction. We are making moves that we need to make. And so are a lot of teams. You know, a lot of teams are filling positional holes that they need to be filled. Or, it's looking great for a lot of teams because a lot of teams are lacking in a lot of areas. And there's a lot of players to go around. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here we go. Of course, topics for today, free agency talk / news. That's really all we're going to talk about. I said this last week, all right? I said, y'all better be prepared because it's about to get crazy. I'd never thought it would get this crazy. This is nuts, all right? I love it, though. Let's get into it. All right. So how we're going to break it down, let me break it down first. We're going by positions, all right? I did 6 players per position that I thought would make an impact, or that's news, or that could be good news, bad news, whatever, news. I did that for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers / tight ends, O-line, D-line together, and then secondary and linebackers, or linebackers secondary. And then I have a few slides at the end that are just extra because as I was making this yesterday, there's more and more players signing with different teams or having new contracts. And I also have a couple screenshots on my phone that I'm going to read off later. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's about to be a packed show. Let's get into it. All right, so obviously the big one, Kirk Cousins, 4-year deal to the Falcons, $180 million. I've seen one report that said it was $90 million guaranteed. Then I saw another one that said $100 million guaranteed. I'm pretty sure it's the $100 million. That's a big move. That's a lot of money. However, this guy has proven to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So yeah, in the whole thing about him only winning one playoff game, doesn't really matter too much. He's had some crappy situations where it just didn't work out too well for the team to win that game. It is what it is. He's proven to win, and the Falcons needed a winning quarterback, and they got the guy they wanted. Then we have Gardner Minshew. He's going from the Colts to the Raiders. I like the move. They also cut Jimmy G. They didn't really need him anymore. It never was going to work out. 2-year deal, $25 million. It's okay. It's not bad. Him and AOC are going to be competing for QB1 unless they somehow trade up for a QB, but I don't see that happening. They'll probably shoot for a QB next year. But I like it a lot. And then we got Sam Darnold from the 49ers to Minnesota, 1-year, $10 million deal. That's quite a lot of money for Sam Darnold, but in this market, I mean, they're not going to trade for Justin Fields. And then everyone else is just kind of taken, But it's a good opportunity for Darnold to prove himself. I'm upset if I'm Justin Jefferson right now because you got decisions to make. You're chasing the bag or you're going after someone else. I don't know. Then we have Russell Wilson. I like this move a lot. Denver to the Steelers, 1-year, $1.2 million deal. Pretty cheap. I know he's older. He's actually younger than Kirk Cousins, but I like it for the value. 1.2 mil. He's already made his money from the Broncos. You know, he's not getting too much from the Steelers. I know the Broncos are paying him, so Pittsburgh doesn't have to cough up a bunch. But I like it. And also, if I'm a Steelers fan, I no longer have to watch Kenny Pickett, so I'm cool with that. Then we got Drew Lock. He's going from the Seahawks to the Giants. Yeah, we'll talk about Seattle later. They just made a big trade. 1 year, $5 million deal. Yeah, it's just a weird competitive quarterback room because now you got DeVito, how you done? And then you got Daniel Jones. I don't know what's going on in his head. Then you got Drew Lock. And honestly, Drew Lock's probably the better quarterback. That's all right. And then we got Jameis Winston. He's going from New Orleans to Cleveland. 1 year, $4 million deal. Yes, I am saying $4 million deal because a milli. But yeah, that's it for the quarterbacks. I like the moves that were made at quarterback. Kirk Cousins obviously is the headliner, but not a lot of big moves because last year was a lot of the moves for quarterbacks. But you know, this year, very quiet. But this next slide, this was the money. Running back, my goodness, DeAndre Swift. I'll say he's the one that started it all. When the DeAndre Swift news broke, that's when I knew. Like I heard the rumbling. I heard all the people coming through. I was like, okay, here we go. Like, the news is about to get going. And then it did. So let's get started. We have Josh Jacobs going from Green Bay to Las Vegas Raiders. 4 year, $48 million deal. I don't know. I mean, it feels weird letting Aaron Jones go, but I feel like they did that just because the injuries and, you know, the setbacks and all that and the share with A.J. Dillon. But Josh Jacobs, I feel like fits a lot with Jordan Love. So if I'm a Packers fan, I'm excited just because of the way that it's moving. You know, it's going – you're not going backwards. You're going forward in the right direction. Then we got Saquon. This is the big one that I think everyone got. I mean, we got Derrick Henry too. It's just crazy. Saquon, 3 year deal, $37 million from the Giants to Philly. Oof. Just if you're not a fan of either of these teams, just imagine your star player going to your rival. That's literally all you have to think about. So, yeah, 3 years, $37 million. That's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it for Saquon as long as he stays healthy. It's pretty hard for him to stay healthy, it seems like. But when he's playing, he's arguably like one of the best, top 3 running back in the league. Then we got Tony Pollard. This move is weird to me. I felt like he was going to get a whole lot more money. But 3 years, $24 million to the Titans. They made some moves, Tennessee did. They made some O-line moves, but I like the addition just because it gives Will Levis a somewhat veteran running back, you know, just to watch the team or watch the player and just kind of like get the veteran experience into him. But I like the move. Not too bad. Then we have DeAndre Swift, like I said, Philly to Chicago, 3 year, 24. I like it a lot. And this move, when they made this move, I'm just going to say it now, Bears are keeping Justin Fields. They have to. They have to at this point because they just signed Gerald Everett, I think, yesterday. And it seems like they're adding weapons. They're just adding weapons for Fields, you know. And then they still have the number 1 pick. They got to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think Marvin's going to go number 1, but that'll be for later on. Then we have Derrick Henry, Tennessee to Baltimore, 2 year, $16 million deal. This one excites me a lot. I'm just overwhelmed because if you've been watching the show for some time, you know how I am about the Ravens. So if they get the ball inside the 10, they have to score a touchdown. It seems like it's impossible if they don't because you got Lamar or you got Derrick Henry or you got Mark Andrews. You know, it's looking beautiful. I love it a lot. And also that's pretty good value for him. He's older, but he's still a good running back. A lot of people were talking trash last year about his age, and then he did just fine. And then, you know, I don't hear any more chirps about it. But then he signs a new deal. Oh, he's old. But it doesn't matter. It's Derrick Henry. He's huge. Who's going to tackle him? As long as he's moving pretty quickly, at his size, no one's bringing him down. Then we have Austin Eckler. This one was huge. Huge surprise. I've seen reports for $11 million, but the one I saw the most was $8 million. So he went from the Chargers to the Commanders. That was the first big move on the Commanders' end. I like the value a lot. 2 years, $8 million. You don't have to worry a lot because if he stinks, get him out in 2 years. But if he's good, then you got a good running back for the next 2 years. Not too bad. You can pair it well with Drake May because Sam Howell just got traded and he's gone. So Drake May's definitely going to come, or Caleb Williams. That's why free agency has a huge impact. So then let's move on to the next one. Wide receiver and tight end. All right, so as you can tell, I was making this pretty early because Darnell Mooney is the #1 guy on the slide, and then we got Calvin Ridley on his right. So, yeah, you'll see how the show is going to go. It's, golly, I like the move a lot for Atlanta. 4 years, 48 mil. Oh, wait, is that his deal? No, it's 3 years, 39 mil. I'm sorry, that's a typo on my end. 3 years, 39 mil. I like it a lot. He's going to be clearly the wide receiver, too. He's got good size. He's only 26 years old. Falcons added two wide receivers today. We'll talk about those details later. Ooh, excuse me. But I like it a lot. You went from Drake London, Mac Hollins, and Scotty Miller to now Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Rondale Moore. It's quite the upgrade. I like it a lot. Before we get on to the next players, let's look at the chat because it's kind of going up a little bit. Wayne Heron says, the discrepancies with some of the money is hard to understand. Front offices have hard decisions to make. Yeah, no, that's just crazy. Yeah, all this money. I mean, I don't know how they map it out, like, because they have to map out each year, like, how much they can get, and then there's signing bonuses. There's guaranteed money. I don't know. If I was doing that job, I would be hoping to make that much money. Angelo Howell to Seattle. Yep, that was the most recent move that we just saw. I actually saw it from a group chat that I was in right before we went on air. I don't know how I feel about it. It feels kind of like a horizontal move for both teams. Washington, I guess, gained the best because they got rid of their quarterback, and now it gives room for them to draft a quarterback. Still could have kept him, but I don't know. All right, let's get back into it. We have Gabe Davis, Buffalo to Jacksonville, 3 years, $37 million. Is he going to be wide receiver 1? Because they just lost Calvin Ridley. So let me know in the chat if y'all think Gabe Davis is going to be wide receiver 1. I have no idea. Personally, I think that would be a terrible move if they made him wide receiver 1. You got to go after, if you're in the draft, I feel like you got to go after a wide receiver now. But, yeah, it's not too bad. Hopefully he can prove himself a little bit more. Big game Gabe. All right, then we got Noah Fant. He's going from Seattle to Seattle. He re-signed 2-year, $21 million deal, sorry. But I like it a lot. He was the best tight end on that team, I believe. Best route running tight end. Good move for Seattle. Calvin Ridley. This was the big one today. 4 years, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. But 4-year, $92 million deal. It's 29. 29 years old. It's not old, but the whole meme is if you're Tennessee, you refuse to give A.J. Brown a $100 million deal at 24 years old. A.J. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league. He was number 2 or 3 in fantasy last year. But then now, all of a sudden, you want to give $92 million to a 29-year-old that's made 0 Pro Bowls. And I get it. Pro Bowls don't mean much, but, they kind of do in some sense. So I don't really understand. However, if D-Hop stays somehow, then that's a pretty good team so far. I like what Brian McMillan, if however you say his name, I like what he's doing over there in Tennessee. They're on the right pace. Again, a lot of people want their teams to get better right then and there. Can't happen. Takes time, all right? But if they really stick with Will Levis and he does well, it could be, not too bad in old Tennessee. All right, let's get back into it. Got 2 more guys. Jonnu Smith. Arthur Smith is so upset that he's not going to Pittsburgh. I bet he's just furious. But he's going to Miami on a 2-year, $8 million deal. Then we got Will Dissly, Seattle to the Chargers, replacing Gerald Everett. 2 years, $8 million deal. This move, he's not the best tight end, right? But it makes me wonder, is Brock Bowers completely off the table for the Chargers? Because they have that 5 pick where they want to use it on Brock Bowers at number 5. I don't know. Probably not. They'll probably go with Joe Alt. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Let's get on to the next slide. Line. So we got O-line and D-line. We got Christian Wilkins. This one was huge. This was big money. We have him signing a 4-year, $110 million deal with the Raiders. He's awesome. I think him and Max Crosby on the line are going to be absolute beast. All right, it's going to be looking great for the Raiders on the defensive side. A lot of money to give up, but I think he's worth it. Then we got Jonathan Grenard. He went from Houston to Minnesota, replacing Daniel Hunter. I like it. 4 years, $76 million. If you're a Houston fan, you're not really upset because you got a lot of players coming in, like the Joe Mixon trade. That's huge for him. But the value's it's there. You got to pay a lot for these linemen nowadays because you win games with your linemen. Then we got Leonard Williams. He's re-signing with Seattle, 3 years, $64 million. I like it a lot. I've been a huge Leonard Williams fan ever since he joined the league because I like the size. I like how fast he moves. Great deal. Then we got Robert Hunt. Carolina is beefing up their line, but they're spending $153 million doing it. It's very interesting, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes with no weapons on that team. But they did acquire Deontay Johnson. I think they got to get another running back in there. Chuba Hubbard won't cut it. Maybe they get a second round or third round guy. I don't know. Then we have, excuse me if I butcher this name because I definitely will, Mike Onwenu. He re-signed with the Patriots. A lot of Patriots fans were very ecstatic about this. 3 years, $57 million. He helped out the Patriots a bunch. I like the deal. Damian Lewis, Seattle to Carolina, 4 years, $53 million. Again, just trying to help out Bryce Young in all ways that they can. Because I think now the owners and the fans definitely are realizing, like, oh, okay, we're in some trouble because we look bad, like really bad, and the fans don't care about us. So let's make sure we protect the guy that we traded for. Not a bad idea. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, my gosh. You got to like and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to like and subscribe, all right? It's very crucial. I had a talk with Nick. He's going to be on the show later this month. And well, maybe not later this month. Later in April, we're going to do a draft show. Mark it on your calendars. You got to share. We're looking to get 1,000 subs by the end of the summer, before the season for sure, so we can get more partnerships and sponsors and all that. Really get Fantasy Blitz going, because if you're in the chat right now, you see the vision. I appreciate it. But make sure you share, hit the notification button. We go live every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Love it. But the question of the day, what is your favorite movie? Last week we did what is your favorite song. So in the chat, let's take a little break. Let me see. What is your favorite movie? All right. Want to know mine? I don't really know if I have a favorite movie. I like the Joker a lot. I like Forrest Gump. Honestly, probably Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump. A lot of life lessons in there. It's a good, wholesome movie just to relax, calm down to. And it's very funny. I like funny stuff. Yeah, let me lower in the chat. Let's actually look real quick. Ryan G says, Eli. Ryan. What's up, brother? Davis says, I'm so sad about Gabe Davis, but I hope he succeeds in Jacksonville. Golly, Davis. I love your football. I love the way you look at football. It's amazing. Yes, Gabe didn't do anything wrong to you. You're a good fan because a lot of people will get mad at players for leaving their team. I get it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Especially like a guy like Gabe Davis. If you're a Giants fan, I can understand you getting mad at Barkley, but he's just getting his money. It's just like how you would, But yeah, I think he'll do well in Jacksonville. I really do. If they can get another wide receiver, then sure. But if he's wide receiver one, could be rough. Then we got Ryan. He says, you already cover your thoughts on Ridley. No, but I can after this slide real quick. And then Ryan G says, all of the space movies. What is that? I got to know what that is. Hayden says, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Fantastic movie. I got to rewatch it as an adult. Then we got Wayne Harrod saying, Papillon, 1973, and Princess Bride, 1987. Appreciate you, Pops. I would not know what those movies were if it weren't for you, and they're fantastic films. Alex, what's up, brother? How you doing? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, fantastic movie, my dad says. Alex ain't wrong. I like that. It's a great movie. It's a good kickback. You gotta love it. All right, let's get back into it. But my quick thoughts for Ryan, if you missed it. Calvin Ridley, overpaid a little bit, but if he can be the later Atlanta version of Calvin Ridley, it could be worth it. Not too bad. All right, let's move on. Let's get into it. The next slide is linebackers. All right, we got Bryce Huff from the Jets. He's going to Philly on a 3-year, $51 million deal. And then we got Patrick Queen, Baltimore to Pittsburgh. This one caught me by surprise. I had no idea this was in talks until I was watching this segment on ESPN that some beat writer was talking about. But I like it a lot. Patrick Queen's a great player. And then we got Azeez Al-Shaair. I think that's how you say his name. Fantastic. The only reason I know about this guy is because in my house league we have linebackers, and I would pick him up every so-and-so because he kept getting like so many tackles. So as a linebacker, you're supposed to tackle. But 3 years, $34 million deal to Houston. That's just another addition that they had. Then we got Jordan Brooks. Oh, I'm missing out. We got Jordan Brooks, Seattle to Miami, 3-year, $26 million deal. Miami made a lot of good moves too. We got to talk about that later. Then we got Zadarius Smith going from Cleveland to Cleveland, just re-signing, 2-year, $23 million. Then we got Danielle Hunter. This guy was a big talk last season on trades. He was probably the number one trade guy to go after. Nothing happened. I bet Minnesota's kind of regretting not trading him because now they just lost him. But 2 years, $49 million deal. Houston, they're coming. They're coming. I'm sorry. It's inevitable at this point. They saw how good C.J. Stroud was with Nico Collins and Noah Brown. And then, Devin Singletary. And now they got Joe Mixon. And they got Aziz. And they got Danielle Hunter. It's looking good for him, man. All right, then we got some more chats. Sorry, I don't want to miss out on y'all's chats. Angela says, I can't pick just one, but the movies I've seen the most are Dazed Confused and Detroit Rock City. I'm a product of the 70s and love stoner comedies. All right, right on, brother. Then Ryan G says, anything in space is a great movie in my book. Yeah, I like that. He says, agreed. Yep, about that. It's pretty tough. And then Angela says, I also love cheesy kung fu movies. Like Kung Fu Panda? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, all right, let's move on to the next one. It should be secondary. Yep, that's right. We got Xavier McKinney going from the Giants to the Packers. I love this move personally. I think Xavier's a great player. 4 years, $67 million. Not too bad. Green Bay is looking good, man. I like Green Bay a lot. I was just a Rodgers fan initially, but now they're becoming one of my favorite teams. That's what's great when you're a Falcons fan for so long, because they're so bad for a while that you can just start watching good teams and you can start picking oh, I like this team. So Green Bay's become one of those teams for me. Then we have, again, I'm gonna butcher this one, Chidobe Awazu, I think. But Cincinnati to Tennessee, good move for Tennessee. They're making the right moves. They're getting players that you need to have at least one good player at. If you have one good linebacker, you need 3 good linebackers, 2 good linebackers. But if you get one good one, that helps the defense a lot. Then we got Kevin Byard. I believe that's how you say his name. I looked it up before and I totally forgot. But he went from Philly to Chicago, 2 years, $15 million. He's a little older on the age scale, but not too bad for Chicago. They're making some pretty good moves. Then we got Darnell Savage. He's leaving Green Bay. He's going to Jacksonville on a 3-year, $26 million deal. This is what I thought Jacksonville needed because they needed a secondary. They lacked a lot last year in the pass game, so I thought that was a good move on their end. Geno Stone, man, that guy had 6 picks last year for Baltimore and just lost him to Cincy. Broke my heart. But 2 years, $23 million deal. Then we got Darius Williams. He's leaving Jacksonville, going to the Rams on a 3-year, $22 million deal. Again, Rams are getting a little bit better. I hope they get out of the mid-stage because a lot of those guys are getting older, like Donald and Stafford, and Kupp even. So, but at least they got Kyron Williams. Not bad. Hopefully he can have a good fantasy year next year. It's just so much to talk about, man, fantasy-wise, because this is setting up so much. So much in the draft and rookies and just how not want to talk about the Falcons, but Kirk Cousins, where does Drake London's value lie? Is it now going to be round 3? Is it going to be round 2 even? Is that high? Because he did great last year with Desmond Ridder and Heineke as his quarterbacks, but now he's got Kirk Cousins. We'll see how that goes. I'm very excited. All right, these are my extra slides. Let's look at the chat real quick. You got... Oh, David says, chat's popping. Absolutely. Keep it going, please. I love the chats, man. Y'all make the show. For real, you guys make the show. I love it so much. You guys take the time out of your day to come hang out with me and just talk some ball. That's all we're doing. All right, later on, we'll get more interactive stuff with drafting. But right now, we're just talking ball. This is just news reporting, and I appreciate you guys even joining. All right, let's get into some of the extras. These are just deals that I saw throughout the week. I forgot to add in. So we got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He went from Detroit to Philly, 3 years. Don't know the money amount, but I like the move for Philly. They lacked a lot in the secondary game. And then Mike Gesicki. God, I didn't even know. He's the gritty goat, though. I don't know if y'all have ever seen his gritty celebration. It's terrible. But he went from New England to Cincy on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. I like the move. It replaces Irv Smith. Then we got Jordan Poyer from Buffalo to Miami. 1 year, don't know how many the dollar amount, but not too bad. Shaq Barrett, thank the Lord, he is out of Tampa Bay. If I may, this guy killed us every time we played him, the Falcons, as in we. I'm so glad that he's not leaving Florida, but that he's staying. No, he's getting out of the division. He's going to Miami. Get out of Tampa Bay, please. And I mean that with respect. God, it just hurt every time. But 1 year deal. Don't know how much, but Miami's looking like they're stacking up a little bit. Tommy Townsend, a punter. Great punter, though, for Kansas City. He's going to now be joining Houston. It's just these little moves that Houston's making, like Jeff Okudah. 1 year, $4.7 million. No, one now. Forgot to add the M. He's not signing for $4.75. But like these are little moves that Houston's making. It's looking great. I like it a lot for them. They could easily be favorites. They are easily favorites for the AFC South, but they could make a divisional run, perhaps a conference run. Who knows? Next slide for our extras. We got Eric Kendricks, the first big move that Dallas had made. Don't know the deal yet, but I like it. He went from the Chargers to Dallas. Von Bell, Carolina to Cincinnati. He returns after 1 year stint in Carolina for $6 million. C.J. Mosley, another great linebacker. 2 years, $17.5 million deal. That is a great deal in my opinion because he's just a vet, still a good tackler. We got Gerald Everett. This move was the solidifier for me that Fields was going to stay because he's not going anywhere. And then they got Gerald Everett, who's a solid tight end that can, complement Cole Kmet. But he's signing with Chicago for 2 years, $12 million. Then we got Desmond Ridder. Get him out. Get him out. Oh, my gosh. I hope you succeed in Arizona for real, Desmond, but, just not on my team. Thank you. Goodbye. But I'm all right with it because we got Rondale Moore in return. He's only 23. He's 5'7". He's really quick. Look up his highlights. He's fast. He's a speedster. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to have fun. And then the next slide, we've got about 4. Yeah. I literally just added this Dante Fowler, or the Sam Howell one. Dante Fowler going to Washington. Bobby Wagner going to Washington. Marcus Mariota going to Washington. Sam Howell leaving Washington. He's going to Seattle on a trade. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with Dan Quinn signing all these older guys. For some reason, he's obsessed with Dante Fowler. He was with the Falcons at one point when Dan Quinn was there. Dan Quinn goes to the Cowboys. He goes to Dallas. Now Dan Quinn goes to Washington. He goes to Washington. It's crazy. Then the Marcus Mariota, solid backup, but 2 years ago, he just proved to everyone that it wasn't there. It's not there yet. Or not yet. It's just not there. Bobby Wagner, just a good vet signing, but, I just don't get it. Are these your actual players that you're wanting to play? They're on 1 year deals, so I don't know. All right, then we've got, let's see, some things I screenshotted or screenshot. I don't know. All right, so Sam Howell was traded to Seattle, and it was he got traded with a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick for a 3rd round and a 2024 5th round. I thought it was horizontal. Trey Sermon, these are just rapid fire. They're like, this is happening today. Trey Sermon, he's signing with Indianapolis. Benito Jones, defensive tackle, signing with the Dolphins. DJ Reader, defensive tackle, signing with the Detroit Lions. Ray McLeod, greatest name in all of football, signing with the Falcons, 2-year deal. Kendall Fuller, he's signing a 2-year deal with Miami, another good Miami signing. Then we have Jerry Tiller, defensive tackle, signing with Minnesota. Another big news, Joey Bosa restructured his contract with the Chargers, so he's staying there. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to stay in L.A., but him and Khalil Mack are. Then we have, let's go, Jordan Lewis, cornerback, signing 1-year deal with Dallas. And then not much more. Yeah, Dan Campbell, coach, he signed a contract extension with the Lions. Yeah, that's really... Oh, and then this is great. Josh Johnson re-signed, or he signed with Baltimore for a 1-year deal. And then Nathan Peterman. I'm pretty sure this is the same Nathan Peterman, but he's signing with the Saints. Have fun over there in New Orleans, or New Orleans have fun with him. I guess it's just for depth to replace Jameis. I don't know. Let's look over the chat. We've got Ryan saying, I've seen screenshot again. No. Yeah, you can clip that if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much the show. I appreciate you guys coming in today. It was kind of a rapid fire. A lot of stuff came out, but man, it's just crazy. Next week, there will be a whole lot more, moves that will be made. But I will be giving a grade for each team on how they sign. So next week, we will be talking about free agency grades and what I would like to see teams do for their draft. And maybe, what day is next week? The 21st? Yeah, we'll do mock draft 2.0. So we'll do mock draft 2.0 on the... Actually, we'll do mock draft 2.0 on the 28th And then on the 21st, we'll do free agency grades. Exciting stuff. We got one more chat. Oh, Cowboys re-signing C.J. Goodwin. I never know if it's Godwin or Goodwin. All right. See, Cowboys are making these like small little moves. I really thought they were going to go after Derrick Henry, but I don't know. I guess Jerry Jones didn't want him to join. I don't know. This last thought. Cowboys will thrive once Jerry Jones gets out. All right. I promise you that. That guy just needs to leave. Same with the Falcons with Arthur Blank. I'm sorry. But Arthur's got to go. But yeah, I appreciate you guys joining today. Kind of a shorter show. Not too much. Just other than just news reporting, you know. I think a lot of teams made some good moves, but a lot of teams just stood still. But next week is when we really will discuss free agency grades and how it went. But I appreciate you guys. Let's go. Ryan, he says, one more thing. Titans already got a low grade with that overpaid receiver. Sad. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the Tony Pollard signing, but yeah, that one doesn't. It's just a lot of money for Calvin Ridley. He might gamble it all away. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, that's the end of the show. I appreciate you guys. This is Elijah signing off. God bless. Be kind and peace.